title, or how should we?
What do you want?
Partner.
Partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bodyguard.
Yeah. I know
Yes.
you should.
Yes.
You should see me with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many ideas, guys?
You go
Yes.
to the door first.
Keep him
Yeah.
around, please.
Oh,
Keep
Yeah.
him
I love
around.
Steven, already.
Always unexpected.
Oh my goodness. So
Well, I should say I can be half for the price.
Right. Yeah.
So
Don't let this tie fool you.
we
Right.
aired the story last night on CN2.
Okay.
So it should be on there. I read the script last night and get over your points here. So
And if I leave, I'll take you with me.
again, based on how the way you look and exercise and stuff, it was interesting when Renee was telling me what you deal with. And
Yeah.
that will, like to Patty's point, will do more to help people be drawn to your message than any
Yeah,
before.
and that's the hope is
Yeah.
that there's more people suffering than we know. That we know of from depression, anxiety, especially with 2020, and we all go through just different places in our life, different phases in our life, and some people just don't have the proper coping mechanisms. I just realized that at a certain point in my life, when trauma really set in and really hit, that my coping mechanisms were not. I thought exercise was like my outlet, and that's what I used a lot of times to deal with things like that, to kind of normalize or to keep me on the proper spectrum.
Because you work so hard to maintain the focus and the proper spectrum that you want, that you desire.
Yeah.
And sometimes that discipline can save you
It's
from falling down into depression.
into that pit. Yeah, so it saved me before, but after my mom or my grandmother, she's my mom / grandmother because she adopted me. But when she died, and that was like, my world, it just it was a whole new level of coping that I just wasn't that I wasn't ready to deal with. So took when the last interview we did, I think I talked about like how exercise wasn't even helping. Like exercise was the thing that normalized me.
Sometimes
was
church
once
can do
was
that. Church stops
church.
working.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever worked before,
Whatever worked
suddenly
before.
you've lost that.
That yeah, because I mean it was like because I leaned on my faith. That's kind of the cornerstone of my life is my faith and health and wellness, like all the good things that you think would help.
That people that are low are told
Yeah.
by other people that are not.
That are
you're
like even my counselors are
I
like,
know, if it was that easy, I would be doing that.
yeah. So to do those things felt meh. So finding a new form or type of coping for me was different. Part of it was
Finding
embracing
your joy.
Part of it was embracing
40 on this Thursday edition of Palmetto Mornings. We are looking at 48 degrees right here on WRHI's Palmetto Mornings, your home for news, talk, and sports. I'm Lucas McFadden.
Hey, you know what, Lucas? I love it. We're talking about writing a book, and we're visualizing and dreaming. And what happens? We totally have our guest who's already done this, already written a book. So I'm going to choose to be inspired that a dream is possible if you make it happen.
Amen.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Patty Mercer.
All right. Once again, I'm Lucas McFadden.
Did we say the time?
Yes, ma'am. And the temperature.
Okay.
But that's all right.
That's okay. I was busy dancing with the book.
That's all right.
Did
Great.
I mention this book?
It is called Fit for Purpose. It's written by Emmett Ballard. So Emmett and his partner Kristen join us. And good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
So Emmett, kind of tell folks your story in a nutshell if you can. I know it's a long story, but if you can give us the elevator speech.
Well,
Yeah.
when bicep.
It's
So-
gonna take a while. His biceps are really big.
That shirt.
So when I was a baby, I'm kidding.
Okay, good. No,
So it started off
he's
when I
come
was
to the right place.
Back where it started.
Back where it started.
Touche.
So the book kind of goes into my background of growing up in rural South Carolina and starting to embrace health and wellness, health and fitness earlier on by my inspiration, of course, which is a lot of people's inspirations. Conan the Barbarian. It was the late '80s, early '90s, around that time. I guess Conan came out, and I told my grandmother I wanted to look like that guy, and she said, "You know what? To look like him, you're going to need some weights, honey." So I grabbed a center block and some center blocks and a broomstick, or several broomsticks, because
That's
I
awesome.
went through a couple of them to use as a barbell and a weight set, and that was my inspiration earlier on to because I wanted to change my body, wanted to feel a little bit more confident.
She was wise.
Yeah, she was wise. So and I was a little somewhat industrious to grab a broomstick and center blocks because most
strong
people would be like,
broomstick.
well. I don't have what I need, and a lot of people make
Yeah.
that excuse nowadays.
No,
like,
my grandma
you know,
said wax on, wax off, and handed me a polish, a furniture polish, and a cloth.
and she said, "Hey, you're going to get those arm muscles
Yeah,
strong,
I
right?"
love it.
Yeah. So she gave me the idea to start working out. And started off with that, and then she progressed me after breaking a couple broomsticks.
I bet.
She progressed me into my own weight set, and I just saw my body evolve from a 115-pound high school kid to going to college and competing in powerlifting professionally. In bodybuilding, and it was a fun ride in transforming my body, and I took it from there
Yeah.
to helping other people because I
she
saw
never
the
told
change
you
in
you
myself.
couldn't either.
She never told me I couldn't, so I'm so forever grateful. And in the book, I give her a special little shout out, dedication to her because she died as of this year, and that was somewhat of the inspiration behind me writing the book because I fell on a dark place in my life, and after her death. Felt like there was a great void, and like you said, a lot of people, like we said earlier, a lot of people look at me and think I'm the picture of health, but there's mental traumas that we all experience, mental health traumas that we all experience, or just traumas in life in general, challenges in life, and finding the proper coping mechanisms that was that was a challenge, but through my mess became a message, through my mess became a masterpiece of what we see before us, which is the book.
One of the tools that you said helped you through this journey was journaling, something that Patty is a big fan of. In fact, she says journal first and then share on social media days later, which is very wise. But journaling helped you.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come as an outlet because fitness was no longer where you were getting your inspiration after you tapped that out, your go-to place of source for comfort? You just didn't find comfort there and you went elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean,
Joy.
Yeah, my joy, well, after going through that dark time, and a lot of people might hopefully resonate with this, that what once brought you so much joy and enlivened your spirit, when you're going through a dark time and it's hard to pinpoint what it is sometimes. So, going through that dark time, what once brought you joy no longer brings you joy. So you have to discover other coping mechanisms. And it's up to each individual. And I felt like I wasn't doing myself, my family, anyone else a great service by wallowing in my pain and my anguish.
And that's adding guilt to the fact that you're feeling low.
Yeah. And so I said, you know what, let's find a way to bring myself back to some place of normalcy, whatever that means. No one's normal, right? I mean, but he looks normal.
Yeah.
Some would argue, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
What's normal is up for interpretation, right?
So my evolution of normal just kind of changed a little bit because what was normal was, to cope with things, I'll go work out.
Yeah.
So now I add this new layer and seeking professional help too, because there was some counseling that was involved. There was some third party help that was involved with this process, because no one should feel like they're on an island. And what I did during that process, which was not advisable, I don't advise this to anyone, I isolated myself a lot, and that's what I think what brought on the depression of that dark cloud even more.
And
because
it's so understandable, though.
I didn't want to burden anyone.
No,
I didn't want to burden anybody with my stuff.
It's not your brand.
It's not my thing. Like,
that's
not my thing. Like my life is just built around creating happiness for others.
Yes.
Like, I'm a giver. Like, I love to bring light, love, and happiness to wherever I'm at.
So naturally,
so now
you did not feel you could do that, you isolated yourself and you found yourself down. So how did you bring yourself back up?
Through journal. Like, I've one of the cornerstones in my life, and I talk about that in the book. Finding meaning, number one, which is for you. Everyone has to find meaning in different sources. So for me, finding meaning just meant basically finding clarity. Like, I needed some clarity because for a while there I was seeking external resources or external things to help me out in this process. And I said to myself, I got to get right, like for myself. Like, I need to
Internal.
and I need to go intrinsic, and not search outside for my help for right now. So what I did was I kind of tuned out all media. You know, I know that we're on the radio station, but I'm only saying like tune out for a couple days. You know, until your mind gets clear. We're bombarded with so much every single day. All these external messages saying that we have to do this. This commercial saying that I have to have this car. My life has to look this way, and it has to look this way by this point. And we put those pressures on ourselves. Yep. And so I fell victim to all the pressures that I begin to put on myself. Like, well, I'm not here, and I don't have this, and that started to weigh in heavier because I already had a burden on my heart. Because I was already in a dark place. All those things started to weigh heavier.
Yeah, they compound.
That's like you know when my wife argues with me about taking the trash out. It's not about taking the trash out. Yeah. It's about something else that I did that built up over time.
Exactly.
You know, it ain't about
Did you have one of those like snap moments that turned it around and suddenly you started looking back at your life and not doing what you had to do and choosing what you wanted to do?
Yep.
And sometimes from the outside that doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
But it's what's in here.
Yep.
That's
I was in the same place.
100% different.
I was in the same place doing the same thing. I'm a personal trainer, online coach. I still did the same job. Like the biggest change is your perspective. Like biggest change. So I had to clear out all the external, the social media. I offer in the book a 30-day challenge where I recommend to first thing in the morning, quiet. So first thing most people do when they wake up in the morning is they go straight to some source of media for their validation. I wonder what the kids are doing. I wonder what my ex-girlfriend's doing. I wonder what what the neighbors are doing. Like the neighbors just got a new car. Did I miss anything? Yeah. FOMO. Yep. You know,
so you're calling it a cleanse.
Yep. It's a cleanse. Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
Sometimes you don't know. It's like you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better. You don't know how heavy all that external validation is until you cleanse yourself from it.
And it was a weight. It was such an extreme weight that was lifted during that time, and I felt more in touch with my inner peace.
That's awesome.
Like I felt like my inner peace was was buried.
Yes.
Was buried in a dark place, and during that cleansing time, I basically dug out my own inner peace and found it, and that was through daily journaling. Waking up, meditation, deep breathing, journaling, doing my morning walk, doing something because morning walks, believe it or not, it's not just the exercise, it's for the clarity, because exercise or moving creates blood flow. Blood flow moves more oxygen to the brain. If you're just sitting around stewing, ruminating over whatever went wrong or this isn't right, or falling victim to your circumstance, like
hashtag 2020. Sorry, I mean, that's what we're all doing.
Exactly, that's what everybody's been doing.
That's why this book is so timely.
I'm glad you mentioned walking, because you are a very fit man. Again, you're about to bust out of that shirt. But some people might just think, well, I don't need to walk. I mean, that's for older people at the mall to do so, but it's for everyone.
Yeah.
And there is clarity in it.
Yep.
Emmett, the name of the book is called Fit for Purpose.
Yep.
It reads like a journal. At the end of every chapter, there are kind of questions. Take out your journal and answer these questions. You know, one is, how does my family bring meaning to my life? What is my purpose as it relates to my family? And how can my purpose help better serve and improve my family dynamics? One's asking about the friends in your life right now. It's full of great quotes. Where do people need to get this book, and how do they get it? They can go to, as of now, because this is kind of like a soft release right now. This is still not on Amazon or anything as of yet. That should be done like within the next week or so, meaning that you should be able to get it on global distribution platforms like your Amazon, what else, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. That should be within the next 2 weeks, but fitemmett.com. That's my website where you can find personal training, online coaching, my book, any speaking engagements, or any team building type. I do a lot of team building with companies too, so they can reach me at fitemmett.com, and or just type in Fit Emmett in Google. But you got to spell it right. Well, everyone puts an I in my name, so it's EMMETT.
ETT.
Wow.
And then yeah.
Well, we applaud you for writing this book. It took a lot of humility to do so and let your guard down. But if it can save a person, reach out to a person, make them feel like they're not the only one going through this. Again, based on what we know about you, based on outward appearances, you've got everything together. We think, man, that man's got it going on. Do we know when it's talking to you, you also are broken like all humans are. And it's okay to let your guard down and ask for help. Seek a third party to help you through whatever that looks like. So Emmett Ballard is his name. Emmett, thank you so much. It's 8 minutes until 9 o'clock in the morning, 52 degrees.
P-A-T-T-I?
Yes.
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 Right.
Wow. I'm so excited that you have put this together.
I love these questions,
Because-
dude, especially with the
It's
friendship.
really good. Like my dad, he just said that he got more, and I have to like bring a copy to my dad because he was like, I
Questions
really
are
want
really
to.
good.
Yeah.
The one about the friends is really good because we're fortunate at this point to have great friends. But I have so many people that do not surround themselves with good people.
Yep.
They want to know why they're lying.
You are the sum total.
So much.
Oh, let me.
Patty, what was the example that they gave us about exercising? We use it this week.
Oh, the
Think of
heart
your
and
body
your
as like a
swimming
swimming
pool.
pool.
Yep.
So your body's a swimming pool. You want clear water.
As a filter.
And so your heart is your filter. So you want to exercise to clean out constantly the
heart.
pool.
And you guys mind taking a group photo
sure,
real quick?
Let's come over there real quick. We'll take a family portrait.
Family.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a family portrait, and then I'll take one with you guys. Come on
You
in.
wanna come on
Kristen,
in?
Come on in.
Come on.
Okay, is everyone ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Man, I wish I could
And
accept
then, I mean,
all of that responsibility.
I can't do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
You're a phenomenal.
Fantastic. All right. Do you want us to take one with your camera as well? Okay.
What in the world are people moving here?
Perfect.
I was about to say you got long arms.
I know. God
Man.
gave selfie stick.
I'm short.
Selfie stick arms. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3.
We have long had a
Fantastic.
Awesome.
That's a good one.
Thank
Which
you
is that?
guys.
13?
Or
12?
12, I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Emmett-
I have phone envy every time I.
Very nice.
So
Yeah, that's a good
good.
one.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Kristen, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so
nice
much.
to meet
Yeah.
you.
803-389-7600.
389.
That's my Rock Hill number from Winthrop.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Okay.
Winthrop Day.
Yeah.
Well, this is really great. All
Thank you.
aside, I mean,
Yeah.
we're not just saying that just on camera,
Well, and
but
we'll keep you
it
guys
really is.
updated as well
Please
because
do.
we're going to be going out into the community and doing a lot of helping like younger kids. That
They
are
so
dealing with
need it.
Yeah, we just
and
had
stuff
Keystone
like
on
that.
this morning, and they were talking about the
Any
problems
any
that-
organizations that we can partner with to help them out in any way, shape, or
Awesome.
form that
Maybe it would be good for the United Way for
Yeah.
some of their stuff too.
if there's anybody that we can
campaigns.
connect with, we're more than glad to help out. We're doing a
I'm
couple.
through so much right now. I'm
Yeah.
a part of so many like mom groups and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, my kids are struggling so hard. I mean,
Everything.
UNC, what Chapel Hill just had to close down for 2
Yes.
days of
Yeah.
mental health because 2 kids killed themselves. Like, come on.
Yeah, the
we
number
gotta
two
do
cause
better.
number 2 cause of death.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're
Between, like,
talking about.
yeah.
Oh, have you got in touch with NAMI Tri County? You need to
No.
get in touch with them.
Uh,
It's called NAMI.
And in the school district,
Tri-County or
we got lots of
Piedmont
contacts.
Tri-County.
Yeah.
That it's just NAMI.
NAMI?
It's a national organization with local chapters. It's like NAMI Charlotte, but it's NAMI Piedmont or Piedmont Tri County, and it's right here at Covers.
Betsy O'Brien.